how long you're in this business, elections never cease to amaze you. Once again, we've witnessed something that only could be described as another wave election. It wasn't true nationally, but here in Minnesota, it was truly a wave election. Klobuchar crushed bills for the U.S. Senate race, and now there's talk about her having presidential ambitions as a result of the big vote she rolled up. The legislature switched control. In the Senate, the DFL now has 39 seats to 28 seats controlled by the Republicans. In the House, the DFL has 73, maybe 74, depending on the outcome of a recount, to 61. I think you can never really tell what plays out in elections, but certainly I think Minnesotans don't have much tolerance for gridlock. The Senate sex scandal was a problem. The budget woes, 10 years of an inability to ever balance the state budget. I think the constitutional amendments backfired. People, it was really more of a referendum on whether that's the way we should use the Constitution than it was on the subject matter of either of the amendments. And so all these factors played in, and the fact that there was not a competitive U.S. Senate race, I think, made it tough for Republicans. So it's another historic shift. The biggest shift that I can recall was in 1974, when there was a 51-member change in the Minnesota House, which was about 38%. In 2002, there's 42 new members, and that's about 31%. In the Senate, with 23 new members, it's a 34% turnover. That'll have some bearing on institutional memory. There'll be a lot of inexperience. There will be a lower level of knowledge in terms of the subject matter. When these situations occur, there's great opportunities and great risks. Rochester kind of bucked the trends in the sense that it re-elected all of its incumbents pretty much. And so that bodes well in terms of having people with some experience in positions. I think you've heard what happened in the leadership elections. Tom Bach is going to be the new Senate Majority Leader. Katie Sieben is going to be the Assistant Majority Leader in the Senate, and David Hann will be the Minority Leader. In the House, it's Paul Thiessen as the Speaker, Aaron Murphy as the Majority Leader, and Kurt Doubt as the Minority Leader, a new face with not that many years of experience there. We're still grappling with a really significant budget problem. If you take into account the $2.4 billion shift and couple that with a structural deficit of about $1 billion, we still have big problems going into this session, although the economy is improving. The other point I would make is that 1978 is the first time, since 1978, this is the first time where one party has controlled the governor's office and the legislature. At this point, I'll yield to Peg Larson, who will discuss the implications this election has for education.
In the House, it looks like possibly the chairs will be named in this next week, and shortly thereafter in the Senate. In the House, it's looking like it might be Representative Mariani from St. Paul and Representative Dabney from Minneapolis. It appears there will be a Finance Committee and a Policy Committee. In the Senate, it looks like Senator Bonoff will chair one of the committees, and the other unknown factor is whether Senator Stump is going to want to step back into the education arena or go on to something else. He certainly has enough years in that he can name what he wants to do. We'd love to see him back in education, but it looks like he could go to bonding or one of the other more formidable committees. As John has said, this presents great opportunities with this turnover. There are so many new representatives and senators coming back. I know the governor has said and the DFL caucuses have said that education will be one of their number one priorities, and paying back the educational shift will be a big part of that. Also, they will be looking at how education is funded in general, and I know Senator Pokamiller had tried to do that years ago, and somehow it just didn't happen, but I think this group of people are very serious about it and will work together. As normal, though, the House and the Senate will have their differences. We're hoping that the committee structure will be more parallel between the House and the Senate. But Senator Cohen has said that that is not a necessity at this point in time, and it never has been. The differences between the House and the Senate normally are vaster than between the parties. So we will see how that plays out when the announcements are made in the next week or two. I do know that a lot of the offices are moving on December 1st, which is a first. Normally they fight to stay in their offices to the very last minute, but it looks like that this group of people are going to be more congenial about making moves and having some progress in the legislature. One of our major agenda items has always been local control, and I do believe that with this legislature, the House, the Senate, and the governor, that will resonate very soundly with their leaders and members of their caucuses. So I think it gives us a good step forward, and it's an issue that everybody can relate to.